It is late. The screen of your phone is the only light in the room. You are scrolling. You see a friend from your past buying a house, a former colleague celebrating a massive promotion, another announcing a perfect life milestone. And suddenly, a cold, heavy weight settles in your chest. You turn off the screen. You stare up into the darkness, and the whisper in your head asks the question you have been running from all day. Why am I so far behind? You know exactly what this feeling is. It wakes you up in the middle of the night. It sits beside you in traffic. It is a quiet, gnawing anxiety that time is slipping through your fingers. You look around, and it seems like everyone else has figured out the secret. They are moving forward. They are building empires, raising families, securing their futures. And you? You feel like you are walking in wet cement. But it gets worse, because you do not just feel stagnant, you feel guilty. You feel like you have wasted your potential. You look at your age, and a phantom timeline appears in your mind, a script you were supposed to follow. By 25, you should have a career. By 30, a house. By 40, an empire. You look at where you are, and you look at the script, and the gap between them feels like an abyss. Look closer. This is not jealousy. Jealousy is wanting what someone else has. This is something much darker. This is existential panic. It is the terrifying suspicion that you have somehow failed at the game of life, that you missed the starting gun, that the ship has sailed and you are left standing alone on the dock. But you already knew that. The real question is why. You think this is about ambition. You think this feeling of inadequacy is just the natural result of not working hard enough. It is not. You think the pain comes from your lack of success. It does not. The enemy is not your current situation. The enemy is a distorted perception of reality. We have built a culture that forces you into a rigged game. Every day you are forced to compare the messy, chaotic, unedited behind-the-scenes footage of your own life with the heavily edited, carefully curated highlight reels of everyone else. You see their victories. You do not see their divorces, their debt, their silent panic attacks, or their quiet desperation. You are comparing your reality to a ghost, and you are letting the ghost win. Society has convinced you that life is a race, a single linear track where everyone starts at the same line and runs toward the same finish. In a race, if someone is ahead of you, it means you are losing. In a race, the only way to matter is to run faster than the man next to you. This is a lie. It is a prison designed to keep you exhausted, because an exhausted man is easy to control. An exhausted man will buy things he does not need, to impress people he does not like, to prove a success he does not actually feel. Be honest with yourself. How much of your current ambition is actually yours? How many of your goals were implanted in your mind by a society that profits from your insecurity? You are carrying the crushing weight of unlived potential. But whose potential is it? You are running yourself into the ground to win a race you never even signed up for. Every time you look outward, you lose a piece of your inner sovereign. You hand over your piece to a scoreboard that does not actually exist. The shift happens here. You must realize that the track is an illusion. The race is a lie. But breaking free from this illusion is not easy. It requires a radical shift in how you view your existence. It requires an ancient medicine. 2,000 years ago, someone understood this perfectly. His name was Seneca. He was a Stoic philosopher, an advisor to emperors, and one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in Rome. If anyone had won the societal race, it was him. He had the money, he had the status, he had the power. But Seneca looked at the elite men of Rome, the senators and the generals, and he saw a profound sickness. He saw men who had conquered the known world, yet were completely hollow inside. They were endlessly comparing their estates, their statues, their wealth. They were running on a treadmill of status, terrified of being left behind by their peers. One day, Seneca received a letter from a close friend named Serenus. Serenus was a good man. He was successful, but he was suffering from the exact same anxiety that keeps you awake at night. Serenus wrote that he felt seasick on dry land. He told Seneca that whenever he looked at the massive wealth of others, or saw men advancing faster than him in politics, he felt a crushing sense of inadequacy. He felt like he was falling behind. He doubted his own path. He wanted to know if there was a cure for this restless, agonizing comparison. Seneca wrote back. He did not tell Serenus to work harder. He did not tell him to crush the competition or to manifest more wealth. Instead, Seneca gave him a concept, a single, powerful philosophical framework. It was a word that would become the ultimate cure for the disease of comparison. He called it Euthymia. It translates to a profound, unshakable inner tranquility. But Seneca defined it in a very specific way. He said, Euthymia is believing in yourself and trusting that you are on the right path. It is walking your road without being distracted by the myriad footprints of those who are wandering in every direction. Let that sink in, the footprints of those wandering in every direction. When you feel left behind, you are assuming that the people ahead of you actually know where they are going. You assume that the man with the massive house and the perfect title has found the answer. Seneca reminds us that most people are simply wandering. They are lost in the woods, running frantically in circles, chasing shiny objects. You are not behind them because they are not on your path. Imagine you are standing at the base of a massive, fog-covered mountain. Society tells you there is a paved road to the top, and everyone is running up that same road. But Seneca tells you the truth. There is no paved road. The mountain is wild, the terrain is unmarked. You do not have to run their race. You have to carve your own path up the rock. But to do that, you must stop looking sideways. You must stop looking at the footprints of others. When you look sideways, you lose your footing. You slip on the rocks. You forget your own destination because you are mesmerized by the speed of a stranger. Seneca knew that the greatest tragedy is not failing to reach the top. The greatest tragedy is reaching the top of the wrong mountain, only to realize you spent your entire life running a race that meant nothing to you. We must dismantle the timeline. The timeline is the ghost that haunts you. It is the arbitrary set of rules dictating exactly where you should be by a certain age. But nature does not operate on a single timeline. Look at and you are punishing yourself for not having his title. You want the reward, but you have not evaluated the cost. Seneca would tell you to look at the whole picture. If you truly want their success, you must also be willing to take their anxieties, their broken relationships, their hidden addictions, their silent miseries. You cannot pick and choose the highlight reel. You must take their entire life. Would you trade your entire existence, your memories, your unique struggles, your personal perspective, to be exactly them? No, you would not. So stop comparing pieces of a puzzle that do not belong to the same picture. The real lesson is something far more disturbing, and it is something the ancients understood deeply. The people you are comparing yourself to, they are doing the exact same thing. The man with the massive house is looking at a man with a bigger house. The millionaire is losing sleep over the billionaire. The person you think has won the race is secretly terrified that he is falling behind someone else. The race has no finish line. The scoreboard has no final buzzer. It is an infinite loop of dissatisfaction. As long as you play the game, you will always be losing. You cannot win a rigged game by running faster. You win by walking off the field. The ancients had a word for this, Amor Fati, a love of fate. Not tolerance, not acceptance. Love. It means looking at your exact position right now, with all the delays, the failures, the late starts, and the embarrassing detours, and embracing it as the only path that was ever meant for you. It means realizing that every setback was a chisel carving you out of the marble. Every delay was a forge hardening your steel. If you had gotten what you wanted 5 years ago, it might have destroyed you. You were not ready. You lacked the wisdom. You lacked the gravity to hold it. The universe kept it from you so that you could build the foundation required to carry the weight. You have not wasted time. You have gathered raw material, and once you see this, you cannot unsee it. The illusion shatters. The heavy weight lifts from your chest. You realize that your value is not tied to a timeline. Your worth is not dictated by your proximity to someone else's success. Your power lies entirely in your ability to master your own domain. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He owned nothing. He was physically crippled. By every modern metric, he was a massive failure. He was dead last in the race of Roman society. But Epictetus cultivated an inner fortress so impenetrable, a mind so fiercely sovereign, that emperors came to sit at his feet and ask for advice. He did not care about the race. He cared about the mastery of his own mind. You are agonizing over the wrong metrics. You are worried about your bank account, your job title, your social status. You are ignoring the only metrics that actually matter in the end. Do you have control over your anger? Can you sit in silence without losing your mind? Can you endure hardship without complaining? Do you treat people with honor when they have nothing to offer you? These are the metrics of a king. These are the metrics of a sovereign mind, and they have absolutely nothing to do with how fast you are moving compared to the crowd. You feel late because you measure time like a mortal. You measure it in years and milestones. But wisdom measures time in depth. 1 year lived with complete intention, with total presence, is worth decades of sleepwalking through the race. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And there is no greater waste of your life than spending it looking at someone else's. Every minute you spend scrolling through the highlight reels of others is a minute stolen from your own forge. Every ounce of emotional energy you burn on comparison is energy taken away from your own ascent. You are bleeding out, and you are holding the knife. The dominoes are falling. It is time to pull the blade out. It is time to stop the bleeding. The time for feeling sorry for yourself is over. You have mourned the phantom timeline long enough. You are exactly where you are. Do not argue with reality. Do not negotiate with the past. The past is dead. The only thing that exists is the raw material standing in front of you right now. You must embrace the forge. You must look at your life, with all its perceived delays and failures, and weaponize it. Are you starting over at 30 or 40? Good. You are no longer building on naive optimism. You are building on the bedrock of harsh experience. You are stripped down to the steel. Did you lose the progress you thought you had? Good. You just realized that what you were building was fragile. Now you can build something unbreakable. Are your friends making more money than you? Good. Let them have their golden handcuffs. Let them have the anxiety of maintaining a lifestyle they cannot afford. You are buying your freedom. You are buying the quiet power of needing less. Do people look down on you because you lack a prestigious title? Good. You are invisible. You can move without the suffocating burden of their expectations. You do not have to perform for a crowd. Do you feel completely left behind by the herd? Good. The herd is running in a panic toward a cliff. You just had the courage to step off the path. This is the alchemy of a sovereign mind. You take the exact thing that was crushing you, and you use it as the fuel to break your chains. You have a choice right now. You can spend the rest of your life as a bitter spectator in someone else's arena, watching their highlight reels and resenting your own existence. Or you can become the architect of your own fortress. To be sovereign means you stop looking sideways. You look at your own hands. You look at the obstacle directly in front of you, and you get to work. No more phantom timelines. No more imaginary scoreboards. No more ghosts. You focus entirely on the execution of the present moment. You master your daily habits. You control your emotional responses. You read. You train. You build in the dark, without applause, without an audience, and without a finish line. That is Euthymia. It is the fierce, unshakable trust in your own trajectory. It is the deep realization that you are not running late because you are the only one on your track. You are the runner, the judge, and the destination. So tonight, when it is late, and the screen of your phone is the only light in the room, when you see the announcements, the victories, the perfect smiles, and the curated lives of people who used to be your peers, do not panic. Do not let the cold weight settle in your chest. Look at them. Wish them well in their race, and then put the screen face down in the dark. The race does not exist. The timeline was a lie. You are standing at the base of a massive mountain. The air is cold, the fog is thick. And as you look down at the ground, you will realize there is not a single footprint in front of you. This is not a tragedy. This is absolute freedom. Sleep well. The war with the world is over. The conquest of yourself has just begun. Walk alone, and walk like a king.